I just created the ultimate SSMT, sequential SMT plus first FVG or IFVG indicator. And I'm going to show you guys how it works and how I took a long scalp just now the day before CPI. I mean, it's really, bad criteria to trade, but I took a long scalp, size really small, and I left a lot of money on the table. But let me break down the trade and break down the indicator so you can see how this works and how you can use it for yourself. So let's dive in. So first of all, this is called the quarter theory sequential SMT. Features are that you can have um, you can compare with ES and YM, or two different tickers. You can, I'm just going to go over each little entry here. Keep this cycle boundary at 0. If you have 1 and 2, it'll be more lenient on where the SMT forms, but keep it at 0 because for the nano cycle, which if you're familiar with quarter theory, it is the smallest quarter that you can get an SMT on, which is about 5.62 minutes. Um, because it's such an off number, keep it at 0 and it'll plot it more accurately. If you keep it at 1 or 2, it'll plot like a 4-minute or 6-minute and it won't plot it accurately. So I'll dive into that in a minute here, but let me go through the global settings. So of course you can change your SMT color line. You can have it at the diagonal or or just like the, if I do this one, actually I've never played with this, previous extreme or current extreme. Yeah, that'll just have it as a line across instead of the diagonal. I like it have it as the diagonal. The oops, sorry. The let's see here, diagonal, and then this is how far off you want your label. Let me turn off these other indicators just to have it super clean here. So this is for the indicator on the label. I have it about 30 offset, so it's 30 ticks up or from the line. You can have your hidden SMT, so your body SMT. I have it as a dashed because uh, that way I can tell which one's hidden and which one's the actual Wick SMT. And then, of course, I always have this checked on remove all invalidated SMTs. So the cool thing about this is that you can have just the Wick SMT, the regular SMT, or you can have both SMTs, or just the hidden SMT, or you can have or you can have both. I keep it on both, and that's how it looks like. And so let's keep going through the settings here. So with correlative theory, here's the SMT visuals here, or sorry, IFVG visuals. What I included in this indicator is plotting the first FVG, the first BISI or SIBI, plus the first inverted FVG to plot after a SMT is taken. So after an SMT is created, it'll plot the first FVG and IFVG plotted. So for me, I've got these colors. The IFVG are lines that'll just go across about 10 bars, and then the FVG will go across the whole screen, so you can see which FVG it is. So on this plots everything from the 3-month to the monthly, the weekly to the daily, to the 6-hour sessions, to the 90 minutes, to the micro 22.5 minutes, down to the nano, all the way, the quarters all the way down to the nano, to the 5.625 minute SMT. And so what that does is, you'll be able to see all those SMTs, wick and body. And what you could do is I have the label position on these higher time frame SMTs at the end, not in the middle, because I want to be able to see the SMT, right, on these higher time frames. So for example, like yesterday's, let's go to 15-minute. I think it was around here. Yesterday's huge reverse when it took out that November low. I had that marked out for so long. Or is it monthly? Here it is, monthly SMT. I think there's a 3-month SMT. Where was that at? Monthly. Maybe it was just the monthly. So monthly SMT, I like to have the label here at the end rather than in the middle because I can't see it. And with how this works, this indicator works is that on the 1 minute, it'll show the label, but it won't show the line until you go back and it connects the line. So if I go back all the way over here to that month, it'll plot the line wherever it is here. So watch now, it'll plot it. Let's give it a minute. Should plot the line. Maybe that's not the swing low. Wherever that swing low is for that previous month, it'll plot it, and that's how this will work as far as the here it is, the 3-month SMT with YM here. That's what I was looking for. So so if I go back to the 50-minute or the 1 hour, and then give it a minute, it'll plot. Yeah, there's the monthly. There's November low. Where was it at? That 3-month. Where was it at here? I feel like I'm getting off track. Anyway, let me get back to the video. Essentially, it is going to track the label. That's where I like to have the labels there. Let's exit out here at the end instead of the middle. Exit out replay. Okay. Get back to current price action at this day before, CPI news day. So it's going back to the settings. That's what I like to have at the end. For the higher time frame SMTs, I like to have it as a dashed line. That way I can tell the difference, and a line width of 2. Label size normal. You can color it whatever you want to color the label. And then you can choose to show the first FVG or the first iFVG after that SMT. So for these higher time frames, I don't want to see the first iFVG. I just want to see the first iFVG on the lower time frames, like the lower quarters, like the Nano quarter or the micro quarter, to show the first iFVG. So that's what that'll do, which is pretty dope. So it'll only show the first FVG or iFVG after an SMT has been confirmed, right? So essentially, you can use that Nano cycle as your CSD, as showing the first iFVG, right? So I'll give that example here in just a minute. So right now, the scalp that I took was right about here. Replay, it was on the 15-second, so I went down to the 15-second because I saw that price was tapping into this first FVG on the 1 minute and rejecting that. So this is, this is multiple FVGs, or sorry, multiple SMTs here. So we got a 6-hour, a 90-minute, and a micro FVG. I'm sorry, SMT plus body SMTs plus nano SMTs, like so many SMTs. Plus you're getting a minute time frame inversion, another inversion on these different SMTs. That's why I plotted those, and boom, that expansion up. That was like I missed this. I was sleeping, but this was the A+ setup right here. So anyways, that FVG was created, and then we came back on the PM and tapped into that, and that's what brought us back higher. Plus, so when I saw this, I didn't see any SMTs yet until I drilled down to the, I didn't know if we were going to displace and take this external low down here, which was, I think it was AM low, or if we're going to return back into the range. And so what confirmed the return back into the range was, this is now plotting a 15-second FVG here, a 15-second BISI. But what confirmed the reversal back into the range was these SMTs here. So this was a Nano SMT here, a Nano SMT with YM, Nano SMT with YM and ES. I think it's a Body SMT on these. These are both Body SMTs. And the way I tell the difference between those is because my body's SMT label color is a little bit lighter than, it's a little bit lighter. So if I go to my label colors for my regular SMTs, it's a darker text. So that's how I know this is a body SMT that's been created. Then it created a 15-second iFVG, and then 2 of them at least, and then boom, it retraced back into there. And then you can aim for, this wick high. You can aim for the previous cycle high, the previous quarter high, which was, this is my other indicator that I created that I'll get into later. But you can aim for the true opens. You can aim for um, the previous range EQ. So this is the previous range, the previous micro. Aim for that EQ here, right? Which of course reach there, and then reach up here. Um, Anyways, I don't want to get super into what you could aim for in theory, but I just want to show you the indicator. Let me just turn this off here. So that was the last quarter, but that's essentially what the indicator will do, is it'll plot the SMT on each quarter, everything from the 3-month quarter down to the nano quarter, both on wicks and bodies, so the hidden SMTs. Plus, it'll plot the first iFVGs to use that as your change in state of delivery right here to frame a trade up. So on my settings here for the Nano SMT, I don't want to see the first FVG. I just want to see the first iFVG as my CSD, right? And then same with the micro. I want to show, for me, I want to see both the first FVG and the first iFVG, and then so on and so forth. So I have those marked off or checked on both 90 minutes and the 6 hour, just to see what that looks like. And so what happens with this indicator is, if whichever time frame you go on, it'll show you the first IFVG, FVG that'll show. So go on the 5 minute, for example. After an SMT is created, it'll show you the first, if there's a first BISI that's created in this case, which it should be plotting this BISI. I don't know why it's not plotting that BISI, but it's plotting the first IFVGs. That's plotting this one right here. This, because it's plotting the SIBI in this case before the this SMT. So it's plotting a couple different ones, but it's plotting the first IFVG there, the first IFVG there. This one is probably coming from this one up here. So anyway, that'll just give you confirmation on it should show on whichever time frame the first FVG that was created. So for this one, on the hourly time frame, this first FVG should be plotted. Wait, is that my drawing? Oh, there it is. Yeah, take my drawing. That's what's plotted with the indicator, and then up here is plotted with the indicator. Once it's been mitigated and it's been filled, then it'll drop off the chart. And so really powerful to see. I think this is my drawing. Really powerful to see, where price is drawing to. If you want to see, how price is filling, potentially going to fill a unmitigated SIBI or BISI, then that's how you'll know. So let's say if you use the 15-minute, if you don't know the concept of the first FVG, people talk about like the first FVG after 9:30 open. That applies to all time frames. So this is plotting the first FVG only after an SMT. It'll plot that first FVG, and a lot of times price will use that as a reference point to draw back into, or to reject, or use as support or resistance, true support and resistance, right? So this is, it hasn't drawn back into here yet with this 15-minute, but that's just to kind of show you what the concept of having the first FVG plotted only, and not all the FVGs there. But anyway, so this is I'm super stoked on this indicator. It basically is going to give you the potential SMR when you combine it with other confluences like true opens. Like, I'm going to turn off the boxes for a second and just, you can combine it with liquidity sweeps, but combine it with true opens. And in this case, let me go back to the 15-second long that I took. Just right here, I scalped this long and left a lot of money on the table. But right here, combine it with, we're below at the time. If I go to replay, we were below TMSO, below New York Open, below True Day Open. below true week open and true month open. So we're below all these um, true opens here, and so my bias was long up at least until true day open or true month open, which is the same plot right here. I should have been aiming for the previous cycle's 50% EQ. That's what I should have been aiming for, just diagnosing my trade breakdown. That really should have been my first target, or at least my second target. First target should have been here. I got a little scared, and I took off one at the body of this coming here. So anyways, that's my, I don't want to get into my own psychology of how I can work on holding my trades longer to better targets, but essentially my first target should have been EQ of this previous range. And then I don't know if we're going to hit external range here, but at least we know that, it's a really high probability that EQ of previous cycle, previous quarter is going to hit, right? So, so if we play that out, boom. Oh yeah, the reason I got out was because I saw this body SMT here, and that's why I took it off early, because I saw this body SMT created with YM, this Nano SMT, which eventually got faded, but that's why I got out, because I saw that SMT. So that was my logic, but I should have just ignored that and knew that EQ of previous quarter was going to hit, which of course it did hit here, right? So anyways, just want to break down the indicator that I just created with Sequential SMT plus FIRST FVG, iFVG. That's there. So if you guys want it, I put a link in the video available to purchase, either one-time purchase or to pay monthly. But I'm super stoked on it. I think it's going to help a lot of traders out there find bias and find a CSD. Plus, when you combine it with the true opens, it'll be really powerful. I'll make another video with this particular indicator that I have. It's basically a master toolkit pro for quarterly theory and true opens. I included the AMDX fractals, the stacked true opens, liquidity sweeps, and of course I also included NWOG and NDOG gaps on there if I wanted to see it. But that'll be a different video, because that's a lot longer video with a lot more explanation of all these settings. But I just want to preview that with you guys and just show you this particular indicator by itself, just the SMT indicator. So anyways, I'll end it there. I feel like I'm rambling. Just stoked on this indicator. Just created it today, or finished creating it today. So if you guys want it, make sure you check out the link in the bio. And good luck, good trading, and God bless.